We just found out who's behind all of these GOP town hall disruptors, and I promise you might be shocked. Then again, you might not, because this is what has become expected after this last campaign season, where our friend James O'Keefe over at Project Veritas found out that the liberals were the ones purposely going into these rallies of Republicans, these Donald Trump rallies across the country, and were trained to try to create some sort of disturbance, to try to demonize those folks that were going to be at the rallies as being hateful, spiteful, and definitely not exactly what we want our America to be like. Well, that was false. They were nothing more than just great actors. And it was very curious to see these past 2-3 weeks as representatives and senators, but mainly representatives, have gone home and held their normal town halls. And the ones in very right, very red areas were having large disruptions. I mean, very rude disruptions. And it's like, deja vu. I think I've seen this before. Case in point. Representative Jason Chaffetz comes from one of probably the most solidly conservative Republican districts in the United States. Yet you would not know that if you watched his town hall. He was booed. He was overtaken. He had signs. A classic protest. Come over to Tennessee, Representative Diane Black down in Murfreesboro. Once again, another very solidly red Republican demonstrating over Obamacare and the temporary travel ban. Even all the way up north with Dave Bratt, he as well. All of these town halls are being disrupted, and yet they all seem to feel like they're exactly the same. Well, there's a good reason, because obviously there's somebody coordinating it. Don't even begin to think that between all these protests that we're seeing at the airports or in the streets, these anti-Trump protests, that these are just folks like you and I who care about our country and are very upset about the policies going on. 2008 called the Tea Party. Yeah, we've already done it, and we organized. But those were obviously something from the grassroots. There was nothing organized at first about those. Those were truly people just taking the initiative themselves. But I am very suspicious when I see protesters show up at various rallies and just magically they all have the same signs. And at the bottom when it says paid for by, so that our lovely unions and others that are funding this can get their tax write-offs, you go, okay, don't tell me that this is something truly grassroots and truly happening just because people care for what's going on. Let's take in case. Let's look right now at the bus protesters of those town halls I was speaking to previously. Those are coming from a group, and we're calling them the Obama PAC. They were very much a pro-Obama PAC called Center for American Progress. We're also looking at organizing for action. And this is not any just small group. I mean, these folks really have some power. I mean, they have an army of agitators going place to place to place that are upwards of 30,000 that they can mobilize. They have a war chest of over 250 offices ready to go. That's why it's amazing they can just be ready to go at a moment's notice, depending on what breaking news has bothered the snowflakes yet. On January 18th, our friend Tucker Carlson actually had one of these paid protesters on, calling himself Dom Tulepso. Well, he absolutely destroyed him, as Tucker Carlson has the ability to do, saying your name is fake, your company is fake, your website is fake, you, sir, are fake. I'm sorry, if you really care about this country and are willing to go out there and protest like what we did in 2008, we put our name behind it, and it was our real name. We weren't ashamed. Why are these folks ashamed to actually say who they are? Well, because they're not actually proud of what they're doing. All for a good protest. Let's just make sure it's for real.